Hi, Nicole. It's nice to see you again.
Hi.
So in our last session, you'd mentioned that you were getting ready to throw your daughter a birthday party, and you were, feeling kind of uneasy about your mom being there. How did it go?
Yeah, I, the birthday party was for my littlest, Layla. She was really happy to see her grandma. I mean, we hadn't seen her since the holidays, so it was good.
Okay. And so in your family, is that pretty common that you only get together a couple times a year?
Yeah, I'm not really close with my mom, so we typically just like go and see each other like on the holidays. I think it was like Christmas was the last time we saw her. Um, but she's like close enough that I feel like I should invite her to special things if that makes sense. So like she can see my daughters because I want them to have I want them to have a relationship.
Okay. Um, for you, have you always felt this distance with your mother?
Yeah, I guess I would say that distance. I mean, I always wanted a close relationship with her. Um, I mean, in my teen years, like I wasn't really close with her, but I feel like that's normal. I don't know. I mean, teens like kind of aren't close with their parents. So I wasn't, but like when I was little, like I always wanted to be like a mom's girl, like hang out with her all the time and everything.
Okay. Tell me about more about the teen years when you say you didn't like feel close with her.
Yeah, I mean, I just remember like being really angry a lot,
Mhm.
and it was like one of those things where I didn't really, I don't know, I guess I didn't really want like anyone telling me what to do. So it wasn't just her, like it was with school. Um, I, I just felt like I didn't need her in my life, I guess, when I was like, I don't know, like older teens, like 16. But I don't know, I kind of got in the like mood of like people can't tell me what to do.
And then do you feel like, as far as the distance, was that something that was just with your mother, or was that with other adults in your life?
I mean, now that you put it that way, like now that I'm thinking about it, it really was with just my mom. Like, I didn't like going to school, but like I had a fine relationship with my teachers. Like, my high school teachers were fine. I have a really close relationship with my aunt. Um, and I did with my grandma, but I guess my mom and I just like didn't really get along.
Okay. And so it sounds like things got a little tense with your mom in the teen years. How was your relationship with when you were younger, before your teen years, with your mother?
Well, I don't I don't really know. I mean, I guess I'm like comparing it to like my relationship now with my kids. I feel like when I'm comparing it to like I'm a mother, and I feel like I'm really close with my kids, but I feel like now that I'm thinking about it, I really wasn't that close with her when I was a child either. I think I just always really wanted to be close with her.
Okay. Tell me what you think a typical close mother-daughter relationship would look like, and maybe how your relationship with your mother differed from that.
Well, like I mean, with me and my kids, like going to birthday parties and like going to events with them and like just kids being kids. Like I let my kids go and play and I don't know, I guess I make sure like I'm always present for them. And I feel like with my mom, she just wasn't never really there. Like she was there, I lived with her, but she never really like went to anything. She never like went to any of my school events. She just didn't, it kind of just felt like she was uninterested. And I feel like parents, I don't know. I guess that's why I felt so lonely.
Can you recall a time, in your early years when you did feel lonely and you felt like your mom just wasn't interested in you and what was going on in your life?
Yeah, I mean, there was like a time, let me think.
Let me know when you have a specific memory and I'm going to give you a little bit of instruction.
Okay. I don't know. I feel like there was a time, well, there was definitely a time in elementary school. Um, I,
Let me stop you for just a second. When you're telling me, recalling this memory, could you try to do it as though it's taking place right now in the present tense?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You do want to hear the story, like what
Yeah, I'd
happened?
I'd like to hear it from your point of view as an elementary school child. If it's as though it's going on currently.
Okay. So I am in fifth grade, fourth or fifth grade, and I did really well on a test. I actually, or like a spelling bee. I think it might have been a spelling bee. I'm doing really good at a spelling bee. I won, and my teacher invited my mom for like a student parent conference,
Mhm.
and it was going to be after school. It's after school, so I'm there. Sorry, I'm trying to keep it in the present
No,
tense.
you're doing great.
Okay, it's like I know, like I'm feeling like weird about telling it, but I don't know. So like I'm in, and it's going to be this afternoon, and like my mom works, so I go home, and I'm at home, and I told her about it. I remember telling her about it, and I think my teacher called as well, and so she knows that this is going to happen. That like they're going to give me an award or just like talk about me winning the spelling bee, and um, so I'm waiting for her, and I know she gets home like 5:30, and I think we're going to meet at the school after that, like 6:30, and so I'm waiting there, and I'm waiting, and I'm home alone. I don't have any brothers or sisters, and she's not here. And I'm getting like really anxious because I know like the time is coming, and I know like my teacher is going to be expecting us, and she still doesn't show up. And I'm starting to get really, really upset. And it's just like, I just feel abandoned. She doesn't come home until like 8 or 9 o'clock, and I'm crying because this was really important to me and she just didn't care. She didn't even say sorry.
Okay. Um, when you think about that child, in that story that you just, talked about, what do you think that child would have needed in that moment?
Like when I'm upset or like
Yeah.
before.
The upset, when you're describing this child who's upset and crying and was looking forward to this special event and um, sounds like she was let down. What do you think a child would need in that moment from their parent?
Like a hug. Like, is that seriously so much to ask? Or like admit that you messed up?
Mhm.
Like, she just never like admitted when she did something wrong. It was like, oh no, it's no big deal. Like, oh well, stop crying.
Um, so as an adult now, Nicole, I want you to know that you can provide some things to that child that she wasn't able to get at that time. Do you follow me, what I'm saying?
Like, what, like giving myself love or something?
Yeah. So if you can imagine, this child that you described, a lonely child, a child who just wants a hug, wants their parent to acknowledge when they've made a mistake and apologize. if you can imagine giving that child what they think, the things they need, like a hug, like love, like being talked to and explained things to, you can provide those things to yourself in a way of, you know, being patient with yourself and being kind to yourself.